Hi everyone, it's Pippa from The Advantage here, specialist support services for girls and women with ADHD. This video is on rejection sensitivity dysphoria. It's one of 3 videos. This video is talking about what it actually is and some of the consequences of it, how it might feel if you're experiencing it, what it might look like if you're witnessing it. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria, we refer to as RSD for obvious reasons. It's quite a mouthful. And it's not a diagnosis in and of itself. It is an aspect of ADHD. It does not show up in other neurological conditions or mental health problems. It seems to be uniquely placed within the ADHD experience. Oh joy, what a gift, eh? Dr. William Dodson has done a lot of work on this, so if you want to find out more in more depth, more detail, I would really signpost you towards him. He's done a lot of work with adults with ADHD, and many adults, many women, many of the women I work with, speak about RSD as the most debilitating part of their ADHD, in fact, and that it is crippling. It's the hardest part to manage, the most painful, with the biggest consequences, which I think is really interesting because, of course, it's not in the diagnostic criteria, is it? All this emotional stuff. Yet the lived experience for many people when they are adults, is that this is really big. So it's triggered by this feeling of falling short of others' expectations or the high expectations I have of myself. It's an extreme emotional vulnerability to criticism and rejection, or perceived criticism and rejection. So just bear that in mind. It is my perception of what's happened that's important. The reality of it doesn't, not that it doesn't matter, but it isn't going to touch me because my perception is that I have been rejected, that I am being criticised, and I am going to have this very big emotional response. How you might spot it in people around you is a very big, sudden emotional outbursts, verbal or physical ones. Or you might notice withdrawal from any and all social interactions because it's a coping mechanism really to prevent criticism and rejection. I'm just going to put myself out there. I'm just going to stay at home and be safe, and no one is going to reject me or criticise me. But of course, then I'm not enjoying my community or my family life or my relationships, and I can become quite isolated. People who experience RSD often have very, very poor self-talk, very low self-esteem. They may also have outward signs of maybe self-harming behaviours, not maybe sort of stereotypical ones like cutting, for example. I'm not saying it couldn't be that, but it might be, sort of punishing themselves in other ways, not letting themselves eat or drink or join in as a sort of a punishment because I am so useless, or I am so bad, or so crap, or whatever message you're giving yourself. And this obviously causes great difficulty in relationships, in loving ones, in family ones, in relationships with people at work as well. So I think if you are experiencing this, you're going to know all about it. And if you love someone that is experiencing this, again, you're going to know all about it. The experience of RSD is very sudden. You do not see it coming, and it hits you like a tidal wave, like a tsunami. That's how it feels to me. I can tell you it is like that, but I can't tell you what it is, which seems to be a problem we all have when we're trying to explain it. But it feels like I have literally been knocked to the floor, the breath taken from me, and I cannot see anything else apart from this criticism or rejection, or perceived criticism or perceived rejection. it's overpowering, it's intense. It doesn't last forever, I am glad to say, and that is quite a comfort actually when you're in it, because you do at least know, oh, I won't be feeling this way forever. It can be internalized in extreme drop off in mood, so like it can look like the person is like, I mean, seriously depressed. It can look like, if it's externalized, again, like sort of rage and destruction. And if you are witnessing it, you may feel this is irrational. And if you are in it, you may be hearing this is irrational. It doesn't matter whether it's rational or irrational, because it is my feeling at that time. And I didn't choose that. You know, if I could choose to ditch part of my ADHD, it would totally be this bit. But it is my feeling about what's happened. So the consequences of RSD are, it's important to be aware of, because it does make us very vulnerable. So this is one that I have definitely done, not consciously, but you know, with hindsight, 2020. So people pleasing. So, you know, going above and beyond. Mrs. Thoughtful, Mrs. Kind, you know, like doing everything for everybody, getting all that lovely feedback. Oh, you're so warm, you're so thoughtful, what great friends you are. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. That's great, obviously. But two problems with this. First of all, I forget who I am and what I want and what I need. That will go right to the bottom of the list. And the other thing is, who are those people I'm pleasing, and does my pleasing them actually make me quite vulnerable to being manipulated and maybe hurt? I count myself very lucky to be surrounded by some fabulous human beings, and they hold me and protect me, but that is my good fortune, and that is not always the case, so that's something to watch out for. Another dangerous, I don't know, coping mechanism can be to slip into perfectionist behaviour, where we just put so much pressure on ourselves to perform perfectly, because we believe if we do that, we will not be in any danger of getting rejected or criticised. But of course, we'll be utterly exhausted. It will be incredibly stressful, and we'll be living in a very sort of heightened state. Another consequence of RSD is we can really limit ourselves, limit our ambitions, our hopes, our dreams, because, you know, like if we don't put ourselves out there, we don't take any risks, then we won't get rejected, we won't get criticised. If we continually, let's say, apply for jobs that are very simple and straightforward, and we are like more than capable of doing them, then we're in a kind of happy place because we're doing them well and we're getting that good feedback. But often we are denying our sort of true capability and living to our full potential. We're often very easily embarrassed. That's certainly true for me. It's less evident now, but when I was at school, it was very easy to embarrass me. I felt embarrassed very quickly, and there was a very physical manifestation of that. I literally went bright red. I mean, like bright red, and it was very difficult to come back down from there. But any sort of you know, a word from a teacher that was less than complimentary would hit me hard. Again, from a friend, that would hit me hard. So that can be a consequence of RSD. And then finally, we can feel very out of step with other people. We can feel quite isolated, and that people don't understand us. And one of the things I always tell the ladies I work with, is that a strand of living well with ADHD is to keep company with other women with ADHD, because I think it's only us that really understand each other and get it. So I would encourage you to do that. The next two videos are on what we can do to live well with ADHD to help avoid RSD. And then the final one is on potential treatment for RSD. So if you are interested, do tune into those. Thank you, and I will see you again soon.